I think the most clear thing is personal to me. It's stepping in front, representing a team from my own province that I was born and raised, and I've been growing through everything here. And that to me, there's nothing that compares to that opportunity. You know, NFL has a certain style of preseason. Hockey, the power play, how do they defend the power play? Most of the coaching is very similar. It's just details of the sport that change after. You know, you can take so much from that, or like the way the Bulls and the Lakers with Phil Jackson were playing a triangle offense. I'm very big on learning from everything and everybody. To see that this league is growing, that there's something there at home, it's wonderful. I started coaching when I was 17. I coached women as much as I've coached men. The biggest thing for a coach is, can you put your own ego aside? Like for me, standing up in front of my team and saying I'm wrong, I have no issue with that.
The coach of the year, in my opinion. Why is that? Because nobody knows what's going to happen. And he is joining us in studio today. This gentleman, from the beginnings of doubles with CS Saint Laurent to becoming the first ever head coach of FC Supra, launching here in April. Nick Razzaghi is shaping one of the most exciting new projects in Canadian football here in the Canadian Premier League and playing out of Laval. This is going to be an exciting talk. We're going to talk to him about his vision, leadership, and what it means to launch a new club in the right way, because we all know it's about launching things in the right way. The coach, the FC Supra coach, the man of the hour, has blocked off a little time today to join us in studio. We really appreciate that. I know your plate is extremely full and your time is of the essence. So thank you for joining us today in studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and I appreciate the welcome. I'm looking forward to it.
Give us a little bit of a background on how you got into coaching, and then we'll lead that story a little bit, that origin story, into where you are and how you ended up here at the FC Supra.
Yeah, well, I started coaching when I was 17. The first time I reached out to a club, I was 15, but they said I was too young. I grew up watching my dad play soccer, and my dad is still better than I am to this day. So
it's amazing.
So I started coaching at 17 in Pointe Claire. I took a house league team, U11, 12 girls, with one of my friends from high school who's still in soccer now.
Cool.
And we did the first year, and off pure, childish instinct, then we had a great experience, and then kept going from there, 17, 18. Then I moved up to competitive levels.
I mean, you just mentioned the whole thing about your pops, but did you have aspirations to be a footballer first, and then you just realized it wasn't going to happen that way?
Yeah, I think I realized around the age of 9 that I wasn't cut out for it.
Yeah, 9?
So, yeah.
Wow.
I was a goalkeeper because I wanted to play the whole game, and the coach said whoever goes in nets can play the whole game. So I went.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I went there, and I was pretty good at first, but then when
because of the height and the reach.
Yeah, for sure. And then when the goals started getting bigger and bigger, and you had to start, it was a bit tough. So
where did the love of the game, football specific, in the household come from? Because if your dad was playing, that means it was around his culture and him growing up to, it gets passed down generationally.
Definitely, it's from my dad. My mom knows now that I'm coaching professionally. She's taken much more interest and information, but my mom supports me, but not a soccer person. It's definitely my dad. He loves the sport. He still plays now. So
is that right?
Yeah, he still plays now. Curiously, my father and Ramton's father, who's, for those who don't know, my assistant coach and my best friend also.
Ramton's full name is?
Ramton Maharpur.
Yep.
We've been friends since we're kids, and both our dads played together, and they were a perfect complement of each other. Huh. So
personalities and compliments that you two have as your dads did?
Yeah. His dad was the goal scorer. He's a physical machine, running, intensity, and presence. And my dad was, a bit more reflective and playmaker. So my dad would often pass the ball to his dad for the goals. So that was the connection they naturally had. And, they also built businesses together. So there's a long history between us
fantastic.
there. And Ramton and I were friends, but we lived so far from each other that we only saw each other at soccer and when we could.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ramton and I have a bit of a similar relationship in terms of, I'm the quieter, more reserved one, and he's the emotional, passionate, fiery one.
Growing up, did you and your friends, was football a thing that you guys gravitated to go watch together as well? Naturally because of the parents sort of thing? Or was it really like a young Quebecer, hockey, winters, and everybody talks about the Habs and sort of all the other sports peripherally?
No, I definitely grew up in a soccer environment because I was always with my dad and always at his games. If I had to miss a game, I'd cry. I loved being at soccer. Yeah, I loved it because it was, a lot of them were immigrants at the time. So you'd have the Italian team, the Greek team, the Persian team, the French team, you name it. And a lot of those guys still play now. They're in their 70s, and you see them playing Tuesday, Thursday at the Saint Laurent complex, and they're still arguing over everything. That hasn't changed. But that's
awesome.
people came here with all their cultures, and that had a huge impact on me as a person. I felt I grew up in the soccer world when maybe here soccer wasn't developed at that point yet.
Do you learn by watching other professionals in your field, or because you guys are constantly educating yourselves through training and courses and programmatics? Which one of these sort of paths gives you the most information? Because in the end, it's still you who's got to put out your piece of information.
Yeah, I'm very big on learning from everything and everybody. I believe very deeply in that. I believe a lot in education, and for some people it might be through school, for some people it might be through life, for some it's through books, through experience, whatever it may be. I believe a lot in that. So for me, of course, soccer itself, you look at people, try to see what they do, I won't say copy it, because I believe you also have to be able to put your own touch on everything. Otherwise, everyone steals everyone's ideas to a point, but you need to be able to add your touch into this thing, able to reflect on it yourself and have a bit of critical thinking behind it. So for me, that's huge. But my favorite, the athlete I probably admire the most is Michael Jordan. It was not a soccer person. But, you can take so much from that, or the way the Bulls and the Lakers with Phil Jackson were playing a triangle offense. For me, it's all little stuff that you can relate to soccer and say, how does that work? What are they thinking? Because I'll give another example. NFL has a certain style of preseason, right? They have voluntary camp, they have mini camp, and they have their short preseason. Soccer, maybe, what can we learn from that? You know what I mean? Especially in North America.
What aspect can I take from that and sort of implement in a football space?
Absolutely, because even here, our off-season is much longer than a European off-season. Right. So it's more relatable to NFL than actual soccer. So it's how can I learn from that? How can I learn from, in hockey, the power play, how do they defend the power play? It's like in soccer, when you're a bit in trouble, how do you defend? It's small stuff that relates, because most of sports and most of coaching is very similar. It's just details of the sport that change after, but 90% of it is the same thing. I know a basketball coach could manage in the soccer team. Now, he might not be the greatest, but he can do enough to figure it out.
He can do enough because it's man management, and also that tactics within team sports end up being somewhat similar. Obviously, there's variations and variables. I mean, obviously, but nonetheless, there's specific baseline tactics that flow through it all.
Absolutely, because take a zone. I'm going a lot on basketball, but take a zone defense in basketball versus man. You have two different types of defense, and basketball is clearly defined. Maybe in soccer we take it for granted.
Yeah.
But having a minimal concept of that is fine. But also, like you said, man management. So I could, in theory, be a very average soccer coach, but be a great head coach, because if I pick the right people around me, which that's why I'm happy I have someone like Ramton and the rest of my staff who are very competent, that allows me to focus on management. Yes, I do know soccer, so obviously I have to have a feel for the game to a point, but I can manage the players, manage the organization, manage the mentality. And yes, there's soccer, but another head coach can do some of those things. But of course, like I said, there's the reality part after, but a lot of the concepts are very similar.
And then at the same time, whatever problem they're bringing into the dressing room or into training will be back there when the boots come off. And sort of how to manage that within a 7-day, period, or, 5 days in training before game day. I mean, there must just be a lot. It's a heavy load.
Yeah, I think, people always say it, maybe it's a bit cliche, but, there's a lot of people that argue man management's more important than tactics. And I don't disagree, even though if you ask me which side I prefer the tactics. I love it.
Okay.
At the same time, look, having been through all the levels, and I coached women as much as I've coached men, girls and boys. So I've kind of got to learn a lot of different types of people by my coaching experience. So it's been a blessing to have all those opportunities, because, the different people feel things differently. The biggest thing for a coach is, can you put your own ego aside and try to understand the people that are there? Because it could be something as far as maybe my assistant coach is better placed to get through the player than I am, but I can't be egotistical about that.
So that's what you mean by putting your ego aside.
Yes, and it's also you might see things a certain way, but players also see things certain ways, and maybe they're right or wrong, maybe you like it or don't. That being said, you have to have a certain, you don't have to, but it would be good to have a certain respect for what the players can see and do, because they feel it in a different way you do. And having those interactions, knowing where to draw the line, of course, sometimes it can be dangerous, because, again, if your ego comes in, you might not want to look like you're losing power, so to speak. But that's not what
is. That an issue? You think is that a major issue?
Look, I can't speak for everyone. I'm not everyone's
So speak for yourself. Yeah.
From the outside perspective and from my experiences with players, I think it's a huge issue.
The ego of the coach with the team.
Absolutely, and players have egos as well. It's not to say one side.
Well, everybody in this room, everybody has an ego.
And in a way, it's good, right? It drives us towards certain things. At the same time, why I say it's a huge issue is because, the amount of players I've coached that felt misunderstood, and I'm also guilty of this. I'm also guilty of misunderstanding players and maybe treating them differently or not being aware of certain things. So I put myself in the same boat. It's just that, there's so much to do. Sometimes we got caught up in it. Sometimes it's people are scared for their jobs. Sometimes it's just the way they are. And all of us, when we're in these situations, it's hard to know how to balance it and how to step aside sometimes and put the players in the right conditions, which sometimes could mean, oh, I'm wrong. Like for me, standing up in front of my team and saying I'm wrong, I have no issue with that. Absolutely.
Because the betterment, what's going to happen with the team after that is the whole point of doing that exercise. Right?
For sure.
What are some of the things that really excite you with the Canadian Premier League, and how this is going to boil down with the 8 teams, the amount of times you play these teams? Like, what are some things that excite you about what you're stepping into for the first time on the pitch in April?
Well, I think the most clear thing is personal to me. It's stepping in front, representing a team from my own province that I was born and raised, and I've been growing through everything here. And that to me, there's nothing that compares to that opportunity. I'm very fortunate. I really want to thank, the club for giving me that chance, for Rocco Placentino for believing in me, for Matteo Cabinets also believing in me. And, to have that chance to step in front of the people I know, the people I grew up with, and people here that I've seen what they go through, I've lived it with them, that to me is the most exciting thing, regardless of anything. After that, the CPL, it's a young league, like you said, and it's growing, right? It's growing year after year. And now there's opportunity to go into the Champions League to be seen in those levels. And so just the fact that the CPL is attached to that, and this is very far.
Yep.
But, if you win the Champions League, you go to the Club World Cup.
Right.
Like, it doesn't, CPL is very far from that. Just the concept that you're in that system, it's insane.
Right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. To see that this league is growing, that there's something there at home, it's wonderful because, of course, we want to make it to the next level after. But, to have somewhere between amateur and MLS, which is CPL, it's an incredible opportunity for players to be professionals, to be in their home country, to represent, a lot of them their own province or city, and then hopefully to get seen and be able to go somewhere else. So, and with the World Cup coming up, it's a great time.
Well, how important is the youth system to help feed and grow, what's trying to be achieved with the first team within their league? Yeah,
so I think there's
I like that smirk.
There's a million debates out there on how things should be run in the youth. It's going to be timeless debates in this field all over the world, right? And at the end of the day, our players are going to come from where? From the youth. They're going to have to growing up here. We're looking for Quebecois players. So Quebecois players have to be from here. So where do we look? We have CF Montreal is obviously the reference point of the province. And then you have all the amateur youth clubs, right? And there's a lot of good ones out there. So that system is massively important for these players because all these kids need to be put on the right track. That means we need good players is not an issue. There's plenty of good players around here, and people say that all over the world. Like the players especially in Quebec, we have nothing to envy of the other countries. Like we have a lot of talent here, and we have so many different cultures here. It's so multicultural in Quebec that you can find any kind of talent. So then after it's how do we grow these talents? How do we let them express themselves? And how do we teach them what they need to know? So that comes from coaching education. Our job is to give them the most possible chance. So that system is hugely important because, you could even have a good run, a good generation, but if you don't have a system behind it, then after 3-4 years, well, what's next? Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so we're going to go commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have one more question, then we're getting to 12 questions. Sound good with you?
Sounds good.
With Nick Razzaghi, coach of the FC Supra, kicking off in April of this year, of 2026. I say this year, and we still got a month to go before we're in 2026. But this is very exciting stuff, and we really appreciate the inside track on your thinking. And more importantly, sir, I can't let go of this. So it's a World Cup draw today for those that are listening. But nonetheless, we know a lot of teams who are going to be playing, give or take some of the guys that still have playoffs to do next year. Are you excited about this?
I mean, a lot of things. For one, the fact that Canada is there and Canada has a very good team. And I hope everyone is healthy for that tournament because I believe what Jesse Marsh has come in and brought a character to this team and brought an intensity in the pressing especially. So I'm excited for what they have to offer. There's a lot of talent now. So that's one. For two, I love the World Cup, period. And like I try to watch all the games. It's a great time. You know, you watch a game, take a break, eat your food, watch another game, and that's a great day.
And they're all good games, let's be honest. Like it's just the intensity. It's
Absolutely.
Just, right.
So that I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to, you know, this new format. It's a bit like the Champions League. At first we said, okay, is it going to be better or not? But, you know, it turned out to be pretty cool. So now for the World Cup, you know, all these countries that maybe never would have been there before that are coming in now, I'm really excited to see how they're going to do and how it's going to be. And, you know, just for thinking when Morocco plays Haiti in Montreal, we're going to see the city is going to be going off the rails, you know, and I'm sure it's that way with a lot of games. So,
like, is there a group that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think with the new format, the likelihood of a group of death has dropped significantly.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at that before I was coming here too. And I'm like, I don't think any group is like 3 or 4 world-renowned soccer countries.
Right. Maybe Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. Like,
yeah, that was
I know
what
that,
I thought about.
Yeah.
But, you know, even then, most people will say, okay, Brazil and Morocco are clear favorites. Scotland could maybe pull an upset. The thing with the group stage, like you said, is, you know, it's starting out fresh. Like Saudi Arabia beat Argentina, and then Argentina won the World Cup. So those first 3 games, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
After when the knockout stages come, maybe it starts to follow a bit of logic. That momentum can be picked up by these teams because straight up, if they were one weaker team against 3 group of death, they wouldn't. But, you know, this gives an opportunity for teams to kind of create things. I think that sense of hope and possibility and dream is going to make everything really exciting. So I think it's going to be a good thing.
Listen, Coach, it's been great talking to you, and I hope we'll be able to talk to you again as the season kicks off. Maybe you'll come back and join us and tell us how things are going, if you're okay with that.
For sure.
But we're going to take you now to 12 questions. Is that good with you?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to do 12 questions here on the first half on TSN 690 with Coach Razzaghi, or Nick. Coach! All right, this is 12 questions here on the first half with Nick Razzaghi. Number 1, what is your favorite film?
The Godfather.
Number 2, what is your favorite song or band?
Favorite song depends on the day, but today I'm going to go with Pintame, Elvis Crespo.
Nice. Number 3, favorite sports team?
The Real Madrid.
Number 4, favorite athlete, dead or alive?
Michael Jordan.
Number 5, what is your favorite food?
Chocolate cake. I mean, that might not count as food.
It totally counts as food, man. It sounds delicious. What is your favorite drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Ginger ale.
Straight up. Huh? That was quick. That's amazing. Number 7, with ice or no ice? The ginger ale.
Probably ice.
Yeah, for sure. Number 7, what would be one thing you would buy if you won the lottery?
I would buy a house.
Amazing. Number 8, dream trip.
Hawaii.
Number 9, how do you deal with stress? You better get this one right.
How do I deal with stress? I probably I go home and I complain to my girlfriend about it.
That's it? That's amazing. That's amazing. And number 10, for a little after hours, pajamas or no pajamas, Coach?
Pajamas.
Yeah, that was too easy. That was too quick. Number 11, what is your favorite fashion brand at the moment?
Well, I have no sense of fashion, so I'm not sure if I can answer this, but whatever you're wearing, I like that hat.
That's amazing. We'll take it. That's amazing. That's very funny. Number 12, what is one thing you cannot live without?
Sports.
That's beautiful. And I'm going to sneak a little 12.1 in there, even though it is 12 questions. I need one word to describe football. So football is?
Beautiful.
Amazing. That was 12 questions here on the first half on TSN 690 with Coach